All right, welcome back. It's a Money Monday on Liquid Lunch, and our guests have been on the money. Your money's on the money because the market's up almost 400, still below the 26,000 number. We need to just creep up above 26, and that's another support level, which could be a good sign. I still think there's a lot of downward pressure in the market, so stay careful and nimble on the markets because there's going to be a lot of shucking and jiving going on, I can tell you that. Vince Everett Ellison is supposed to join us in just a few, but I've been talking today about these comparisons between, it may sound crazy, but, the big black guy in the meme that gets shared all over the place, and he's in all different kinds of settings, right down to the Last Supper. But the guy passed in 2016, okay? And it turns out he was actually a good guy. He wasn't a porn star or anything. He was in a bad time, getting foreclosed on his house, and a friend who took porno shots asked him if he wanted to take some photos and he can get some money to help pay his bills, pay his family. So as a straight guy, he did it to make some extra money. It turns out, he was heavy duty in his church. He was a great family man. He was an unbelievable athlete. He's in the Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame. And, a guy like that, Vice News reported on this recently, and I've been just uncovering a little bit. His family, I think they came up short like $1,500 for a headstone for him. And then you got, other GoFundMes, so like George Floyd's family, where he's got $15 and $20 million. So, no one deserves to be dead. But I think the Wood meme guy probably brought a smile to a lot of people's faces. What makes me even more mad? That when you have these politicians like Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer standing up there on their high horse and they're kneeling down with the kentes on, which was roundly rebuked by most African-American leaders, just photo op after photo op, and they're standing on their high horse talking about all this crap and everything else. Let me show you how important George Floyd really is to these Democratic leaders like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Take a look at this.
George's daughter, that his name will be always remembered. This legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name.
For the families of Floyd Taylor, George Taylor.
Nancy Pelosi called him George Kirby. George Kirby, not his name, and she was talking about how she told his daughter that his name will be always remembered as George Kirby. I don't know, what did Charles Schumer call him? Floyd Taylor. Floyd Taylor is what Charles Schumer referred to George Floyd. So you got George Kirby and Floyd Taylor. So between Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer, you got George Kirby Floyd Taylor. That's the name. I guess if you eliminate the Kirby and the Taylor, you have a George Floyd. But these are two of the biggest voices in our political system, the head of Congress, Nancy Pelosi, and the minority leader of the Senate, Charles Schumer. And they can't even get the guy's name down. But the whole world, the whole country is under attack. There's autonomous zones. These occupiers are back in New York City. They're occupying City Hall. Like, stuff is out of control. And it would be nice if the leaders who are supposed to be at the forefront of this kept their eye on the ball on what's really important. If it's supposed to be about the man who started the movement, maybe they should get his name down instead of calling him George Kirby and Floyd Taylor. I don't even know where you would get Floyd Taylor out of George Floyd. It doesn't even make sense. But, Charles Schumer is a pretty wacky guy. That's for sure. Do we have Vince? No, we're still waiting for Vince Everett Ellison. Whopper of an hour or two coming at you today. My favorite attorney, or at least the attorney for Liquid Lunch and one of the best guys around, Manny Alejandro, is going to join us in a little while. He's an attorney and a TV analyst. And Manny recently represented the fight not to move the bull, the charging bull which is like an American icon in New York City, right at the bottom of Broadway, just a couple blocks past Wall Street. There's that big bull. Anytime you go down there, there's hundreds of tourists around taking pictures with the bull. And for some reason, they wanted to move the bull. It's this huge brass bull. And they wanted to put it in front of the New York Stock Exchange. And Manny and his team kind of sprung to the rescue and saved. It's very tough to save a statue these days, I can tell you that. But they saved a monument to the bull. And for now, it will stay where it is. And Manny's going to break that down for us to tell us how he finally won. And maybe we could use that method to preserve some more Christopher Columbus statues, because I can't even believe what's happening with Cristobal Columbus. Jim Quick's going to join us in a little while. He's the author of the book Limitless. He's a New York Times bestseller. And, Limitless is a book that I got. I have it right over there. In fact, I got 2 copies. And Jess, one of my producers this morning, stole 1, but it still leaves me with 1. And, for those of you watching at home who have younger folks working for you or in your family and stuff, I gave Nico and Jess a science quiz this morning, which is like some 6th grade science, and asked them both a simple question: what is the path of least resistance? And it turns out that they're not teaching that in the schools anymore, because Nico said that the path of least resistance was from the wire cord to the outlet. Not to the pillow, but to the outlet.
I remember we were talking about electricity.
Right, exactly. There you have it. You still don't get it, but anyway. We will have Jim Quick here, and he's a world-renowned expert in speed reading, which I need because I got all these books around. People send me, and I'm supposed to read them, and I just flip through the inside cover and try to pick out a couple of lines. I would love to learn how to speed read. We're going to ask Jimmy Quick on some tricks, how you can speed up your reading and your comprehension. I'd like to do that, and it looks like Vince Everett Ellison couldn't make it with us today. We missed him, but we're going to miss you for just like maybe a minute here, and then we're going to flip it around, come back top of the hour, news of the day with JT and you right after this.